tarmac. Well, Australia's busiest airport is facing fresh scrutiny over passenger safety after a second near miss in just weeks, putting almost 200 lives in danger. A Jetstar pilot was forced to brake suddenly to avoid colliding with a Qatar Airways aircraft being towed across the tarmac. This time, a cabin crew member was injured. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau is now investigating what went wrong, calling for anyone with footage to please come forward. For more, we're joined by Angus Mitchell, Australian Transport Safety Bureau Chief Commissioner. Good morning. What can you tell us at this stage about how this near miss may have happened?
Well, we've now got two incidents that we're investigating over the course of the last 2 weeks. So yesterday's incident, yes, it was done at low speed, but it has the potential to be very significant. So those two aircraft should not have come as close as they did. We had one aircraft, that was the Jetstar one, preparing for a departure up to the Gold Coast. Now, that was full of passengers, full of fuel, but then we had a Qatar airline that landed earlier in the morning that was being manoeuvred. Now, what has broken down in the communication or in the coordination, we're yet to quite understand completely. But we do know that they shouldn't have come so close. And particularly aircraft that size with passengers on board, the coordination is as important in the air as it is on the ground as well. And we need to understand what went wrong.
So the person in the towing vehicle, they are on some kind of radio and they're getting instructions too. Does that seem like where the breakdown may have been?
Well, look, again, it's a little bit too early to make any assumptions here. We need to understand, was an order given from the tower? So was the right instructions given? What should have been given? Was it received? Was it understood? Was it just the guy the personnel in the towing vehicle? Was there someone in the cockpit as well that was relaying? There's a little bit more for us to understand here around what broke down. Only to say that it was a serious incident and, we've got one person who's been injured as a result of it. But it certainly could have been worse. OK, because the public are just going, OK, what on earth is going on at Sydney Airport? Is it understaffing at the control tower? Are they overworked? Can you generalise? Is there a problem? Or do these seem to be two random incidents that happen to have just happened? Well, look, we don't know that yet, but we do know that there has been considerable stresses. So airports are busy places. We know, and this takes some years from coming out of COVID, and I know that sounds like a long time ago, but the training, the recruiting, the qualification of air traffic controllers has been a real challenge for air services, and they've been freely admitted that. We also have complications now. We have another airport in Sydney that's up and, starting that build-up phase, a new airspace design that's only just come into effect in the last few weeks. So there are a lot of stresses on the system, but as I said, there is nothing more important than maintaining that separation with aircraft. So we need to know what occurred and to the point around what broke down, but most importantly, what can we do to strengthen that system so that we don't have a situation where a pilot in a plane is the last line of defence and picks up this. And in both cases, we had pilots in the aircraft 2 weeks ago, recognised it, stopped in time, fortunately, but they shouldn't have been down to them at the end of the day. There should have been a process that actually separated them in the first place.
Yeah, both of them, I think, slamming on the brakes like this Jetstar pilot by the sound of it. Angus, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Here's Chevo.